I'm Amber, and today we are going to be reviewing the movie of In the Heights. Not the play, although I would like to see the play to be able to compare the two because I feel like there are things that are very different from what I've heard. Obviously, I am more familiar with Hamilton. Well, not too obviously because I haven't exactly shared that here. But I'm very familiar with Hamilton. And In the Heights was just kind of thrown at me and introduced to me. And my sister was like, hey, let's watch it. And I'm like, okay, let's watch it. And we did. And I thought that I would resonate with it more, it being like a Latin American kind of Hispanic themed movie, and it being centered in like the small kind of urban community, kind of very much how I was growing up in a certain area that was very much the same um, during my early 20s. I don't want to be too specific. And so I thought I would be able to resonate with it more. And it just, I liked the vibe. I liked the feel of it. I loved the music during when I was hearing it. The music was great and everything, and then it just kind of fell flat for me a little bit. And then certain songs, like I remembered, like literally the next day, and then I was like, oh, I do like the music, I really do. But like with everything going on in the movie, it just, I don't know, like if you got this weird feeling when like hearing the music, like it just you didn't like it as much. And that's sad to say because I feel like it's a beautiful concept, it's a beautiful movie, it's beautifully constructed. I just felt there were certain things that it lacked and didn't really match up. And that's why it was kind of hard for me to like really appreciate it the way I wanted it to, the way I wanted to. And so like I said, it's like this kind of like Latinx inspired movie. It talks a lot about the idea of illegal immigrants, and um, there's a character, the main character, whose parents came from, I forget where, and they immigrated from there, and like it's the idea of just like trying to make a better life, and then they find themselves all in this one kind of area where they come together and they become united through culture and music and the beauty of like who they are. And I just find it's a really inspiring movie, it really is. I just felt that the way it was executed and went from each scene didn't exactly match up. And I want to explain that more clearly because it's kind of just all like a blur in my head because I did watch it like a month ago. But I know that A, love the music, like I said before. B, just I love the idea. C, it just didn't depict the ideas and the overall vibe that it was showcasing in a way that I felt really kind of just struck a chord and like really affected the audience. And I mean, at least for me, I could be wrong because I know a lot of people enjoyed it as well. But so like it could be entirely my opinion, but there are just certain scenes where I feel like I'm being very vague with this, and I'm not trying to. Um, there are certain scenes. I'm trying to make this a non-spoily kind of video too. Also because I don't know enough about it. I was only just introduced to it, so I don't want to be like I know everything about it when I haven't even seen the play. I didn't know what the concept was before I actually watched the movie, so I don't want to be like I speak so much about it in like a way that like is snobbish or whatever. That being said, being um, of Hispanic descent and watching a movie that I feel like I'm going to identify with based on the commercials and based on what I was hearing and based on what I was seeing and based on the music I was hearing, I kind of didn't. I didn't understand the whole concept of him desperately wanting to go to his father's like little area and his beach, other than his like relationship with his father, and that he kind of grew up there, and he wanted to kind of just make a name for it and everything. But it was just like this, it was such a central point of the movie where I was just like, there has to be kind of something more attached to it. Um, because if he loves his, because he loves this community that he's in, why does he want to leave it so desperately just to go there? Why can't he? I don't know, like it didn't add up to me. But he talks about how much he loves his little town and everything, and there's all these great things and everything. And it's just like, then stay, dude. Like, you can maybe like go and like visit from time to time, and maybe you can make some money. Like, I don't know, like it felt like it needed more of a pull for me to be like, I get you, you know? Um, and then there was one scene, uh, you might want to skip forward if you're gonna stick around for the rest of the video, just because there might be some spoilers starting from here on out, so just warning you. The grandmother, when she passed, it was just kind of, for me, out of the blue. Um, and then they kind of just were like, her medication, and it was hot. I was like, I understand, because like I've had something similar happen with me, but like in my family, but like I just, the way that they went about it, the whole music number was beautiful. It was beautiful. I loved the song, everything. But it just didn't really add up, because I was just like, she was so lively and everything. And then I didn't understand how they kept going back and forth to the grandmother's house. They were like doing something else, and then they came back, and then they did something else, and they came back. I'm like, they went back like 5 different times a day. And I get that it's like this idea of like, she's like this kind of like thing that connects them all together. But I was just kind of turning back and looking at my sister and be like, are they back at the house again? Like, how, like, they're playing games and bingo at the house again? Where did these ladies stay? I'm not sure. Okay. So, like, it just kind of was like, I don't understand, but all right. So, okay, it's a central focal point that unites everyone. She's, this, she's a grandma to everyone, even if she's not like related to everyone. She cares very much about them. And I wish we could have gotten a little bit more backstory on that, just because she kind of just showed up and she just kind of was the grandmother type figure. And I was like, I kind of want more like how she did that, why she did that. And I think we got some of that again in that big number when she was passing away, which was a little weird, like visually, but the song, like I said, was great. The idea was great. It just was a little weird. Like, I didn't understand certain things with the subway, and like it didn't connect. I think it was like this whole like metaphor of like, she's here in Washington Heights, and then like she takes the subway every day, and like, this is her modern day real life, and then from her childhood, and intermixing all of that. But it just kind of didn't really work out for me, at least in that aspect. But everything else, beautiful. And so that was like the first song that was like stuck in my head the next day. But like, yeah, there was just certain things where I was just like, I don't understand how we get to point A and to point B. I'm not quite sure exactly yet. And then the end, when he decides he's gonna stay in Washington Heights, I'm like, well, I kind of figured, And then I said in the beginning that they talk a lot about the idea of illegal immigrants and stuff like that. They do, but it's not in a way that's like very forward. Like, it's just kind of like it's touched on, and it's not really spoken about too much until the end. But it is a subject that is kind of like in the atmosphere of the movie. So I would have liked if they would have talked about that at least a little bit more, or would have brought it up a little bit more. There's just certain concepts where I was like, we kind of need to know this a little bit more. When I don't want to compare it to Hamilton, I don't, but at least Hamilton, you understood how one scene segued into the next. I bumped into my phone. You understood how we got from point X to point whatever. It just, everything interlocked and connected and flowed seamlessly. And this one, it just was missing some components, I felt like, to be able to explain why this was happening, or feel like there was more of a drive for why these characters were doing this. And then they were talking about how, like, again, this community, they're all interconnected and they all are family. And then a lot of people just like end up leaving, and I'm just like, wait, like, why? Like, I just like the hair salon ladies, they just ended up leaving. I'm just like, why? Like, but so that was a little weird. I don't know. I just kept looking at my sister, and I was like, I don't understand why this is happening. And then there was this whole, like, they tried to, like, create, like, yes, they danced a lot and everything, but with their dancing and everything, they added, like, little sparkly fireworks and stuff, and little things and images. And then in the end scene, when they were dancing, they were going up a building, and I just was like, this is too much. You're trying to add too much. I get it, you want to make it this big spectacular thing, but there's too much going on for me to just really, like, be like, I connect with this. I couldn't connect with it because of the plot holes, because there wasn't enough drive from the characters, and because there was just too much going on, where I just felt like the true components of the plot were missing. The true drive of the plot for me was missing. Other than that, I could basically, like, relate in other aspects and understand certain things. Um, but I just felt like certain things should have been more forwardly talked about. At least that's my point of view. Otherwise, minus some weird things in the song numbers and that, like, I think it was a good movie. I think it was beautifully filmed, and it just had a lot of great lighting. The characters were great. It's just I lacked a lot of things that I think would have really made it for me. And then at the end, when the daughter was like, I can fix everything and I'm gonna study this, and it's just like, I loved the passion, but it's like, girl, you can't fix everything. I mean, you could be something that helps, someone who helps, and that'd be greatly, like, appreciated and admired. But it's just like the solution. It made it seem like she was gonna fix all the ideas and everything going on with illegal immigrants, and I was just like, on the treatment going on with them, it just was like, you alone can't fix this. And they made it seem like she was the one, and it was just like, I don't know. I just felt like it could have been more like, okay, she's gonna go. She finally knows what she's gonna do, and she's gonna study this, and we're proud of her and everything. But it was more like, she's like, they were so much thrown on this one individual. And I get it. She's the one person who made it out, who went to college and everything. But it just was like, oh my goodness, like, I think we're highlighting too much of this on, like, there's I don't know. I'm all about, like, the idea of motivating females and female empowerment, and yes, they can do anything if they put their mind to it. I just felt it was a lot of pressure to put on one individual, not even just like the idea of, like, she's the only one that got out. I understand that. It's just, it's like she was going to be the one to fix everything at the end, and, like, nobody has that power. I wish, but that's kind of how they made it seem. Like, it was just like this big happy ending. It just was like, I would have felt better if it was more of like a coming of age kind of story. They figure out what they're gonna do with their lives, and we see them, like, maybe a couple of years later, like we did for that one guy. Like, that I would have understood. So those are my thoughts. They were kind of a little bit all over the place, but I don't know. I just, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what the movie needed, because I keep thinking Hamilton and I don't want to. And this was just kind of like, then it was going to be the next Hamilton, and it just fell flat a little bit for me. And I felt like I should have loved this one more because I would have related to it more, but I didn't. And then that kind of saddens me in a lot of ways. And then it's hard to say, like, because I only know so much about musical theater or theater in general. And I say that while wearing my Wicked shirt. But yeah, I do have a minor in theater from my undergrad. And we study plays and everything, but I am no expert when it comes to that, and I don't have enough information or knowledge on that to say they could have done this, they could have done that, or and then of course this concept was constructed, by a specific individual, and it's his story, and I do not want to bash on that at all. I am just here purely talking about the movie plot and how I felt about it. But I think it's an incredible story, and I just think it just could have been depicted, at least on the big screen, just a little bit differently, in my opinion. But that's kind of, again, my opinion. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!